All right, let's dive into a really powerful modern parable. It's a story that involves a gesture, something called a siren's cradle, and a profound danger that lurks in a place called the playground. This is all about that fierce, lonely struggle for your own individuality against the warm, comforting, and honestly suffocating pull of the crowd.
And the story kicks off with this really stark warning. It immediately sets the stakes. We're not just talking about fitting in at a party or being popular at work. No, this is about spiritual survival. The choice it lays out is absolute. You can have a life of freedom, no matter how hard that is, or you can have a kind of living death, all comfortable and quiet inside the graveyard of the herd. So our guide on this journey is the jester. And picture this, he's standing way up on a high summit, and he's pointing out the single greatest threat to a newly awakened spirit, what the story calls the newly birthed children, who are just starting their climb. And what's wild is that the danger isn't what you think. It's not the gaping abyss right below them. No, it's something way, way more seductive. It's the playground. And this really lays out the fundamental choice, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the heights. We're talking about the lonely freedom of being a creator, a flight straight toward the sun that is always, always teetering on the edge of the abyss. But then you look to the other side. You've got the valley. And that's the playground. It's the warm, comfortable mediocrity of the herd. The jester's warning is crystal clear here. The real danger isn't falling from up high. The real peril is being tempted to never even try to fly in the first place.
So let's break this down. What is the peril of the playground, really? Well, it's that temptation to just give up. To give up the incredibly hard work of creating yourself, of forging your own values, and trading all that in for the easy safety of a group. It's choosing the comfort of a borrowed innocence, one you didn't even earn, over the tough, messy, but incredible act of creation.
Okay, so you have to wonder, right? What makes this playground so tempting? Why is the call of that valley so incredibly hard to resist? Well, the parable has a name for this allure, and it's a chilling one: the siren's cradle.
And the promises the herd makes, they're really appealing. We're talking shared toys, soft beds, safety in numbers. They offer you an escape from that crushing burden of forging your own path. It's like they're whispering in your ear, hey, that's too heavy for you to carry all by yourself. The work of creating a self, that's way too much for one soul. Just, come on, rest with us.
Now, the entrance to this playground, the jester just mocks it. He calls it the Gilded Gate. And of course, it looks beautiful, right? It's golden, it's inviting, but he sees it for what it is: the final trap for the spirit. You think you're stepping forward into a new home, but you're not. It's a regression. It's a full-on retreat back into a state of dependency. It's literally a return to the womb instead of a flight toward your own sun.
And once you're inside that gate, that's where you find the siren's cradle. And it's not some place of vibrant, amazing dreams. No, it's a deep, dreamless sleep. It's the place where your inner fire, that raw, creative, wild passion, what the parable calls the Dionysian fire, is completely put out by the cold water of social conformity.
And this right here just brilliantly illustrates the dark underside of all that comfort the herd offers. All their so-called love and concern, a lot of the time, it's just a subtle kind of envy. They don't actually want to lift you up. They want to pull the high flyer down into the mud with them, because your flight just reminds them of how small and stuck they really are. So how in the world do you resist a pull that powerful? The parable suggests the answer isn't where you think to look. It's not in being pure light or having some kind of naive innocence. No, the answer lies in integrating a part of yourself you probably try to ignore: your own inner darkness, your shadow. See, the integrated shadow, it acts like a sentinel, a guardian for your spirit. It's the part of you with a built-in radar for when you're being manipulated by communal guilt. It's what gives you the teeth, the ability to bite through that sweet poison of pity that people offer you just to weaken you. And maybe most important of all, it's what allows you to see the predator hiding behind the herd's kind, smiling mask. And this just shows the contrast perfectly. It's like night and day. On one hand, you have the naive child. Without their shadow, they're just easily seduced by fake kindness and pulled right down. They become a creature of dependency. But the whole child, the one who has integrated their shadow, they see the truth behind the smile. They resist that downward pull, and they become a sovereign being, the master of their own journey.
And the jester absolutely loves this. He celebrates that malicious part of the self, the part that isn't always polite, the part that isn't constantly trying to please everybody. Because that's the part that finds the herd's games totally boring and their rewards, their approval, their comfort just repulsive. And that, my friends, is the ultimate guardian of your own unique path. Okay, so this brings us to the real climax of this whole internal journey. Because it turns out it's not enough to just resist the playground. To be truly, finally free of it forever, you have to pass one last crucial test. And the jester's challenge here is, well, it's radical. He literally commands the children to destroy their dolls of nostalgia. What does that mean? It means a ruthless letting go of all those past comforts you once craved. You have to stop looking over your shoulder for approval. You have to stop wishing for the safety that you so bravely left behind. What this test really is, it's a test of amor fati. That's a Latin phrase, and it means love of one's fate. And it boils down to the ultimate question. Can you fully embrace and truly love your own unique, difficult, lonely path, more than you desire the easy, comfortable lie that's shared by the crowd? And right there, the parable turns that question directly on us. It stops being just a story about these children, and it becomes a question for anyone, for you, for me, for anyone trying to live an authentic life. So can you? Can you truly love your own fate with all of its struggles more than you love the comfort of just fitting in? And this just sums up the choice so beautifully. To pass the test, you have to make a definitive decision. There's no middle ground. You have to choose the wild, unpredictable creative energy of the heights, the lightning, over the safe, warm, predictable fire burning in the herd's hearth. And for the ones who actually pass this test, well, the parable describes a final, truly profound transformation. They don't just survive the climb, they evolve. They become something entirely new. And this is the final big revelation from the jester. The playground, it isn't actually a physical place down in the valley. It's a state of mind. It's that part of us, that little voice inside that is constantly seeking approval and validation from other people. The real battle, it was always internal. And this is their triumph. Their innocence is no longer a weakness. It's a strength that's been forged by overcoming temptation. They completely stop searching for a place to belong, and instead, they start creating their own worlds. They become, as the story says, architects of the abyss, building their very own heavens. A new kind of sun starts to burn inside them, one that's completely independent of any warmth from the outside. And as the jester vanishes, he leaves behind this one echoing truth. We tend to think of play as something trivial, something not serious. But here, the child's play is reframed as the ultimate act of self-creation, of building your own values, your own world. And the story makes it clear. There is absolutely no work a human can do that is more serious or more important than that. And so, the story concludes. The peril of the playground has been averted. The companions turn their backs once and for all on the valley with its easy answers and comforting lights, and they fully embrace their own journey, their own inner midnight, where the only audience that matters is the self. Which, of course, leaves us with one final, very provocative question. The parable's shown us that the playground isn't a place, it's a state of mind. It's that need for external validation. So the real question for all of us is this: where is your playground? In your own life, right now, what comforts are you clinging to? And what lightning are you afraid to choose?